Jake, you really can't. You don't know how to do that.
I have no idea.
Try it.
Wait,
Dude,
really?
come on.
Put the tongue
Jake.
at the roof of your mouth. Oh, you
There
did
we
it.
go.
Oh, you're just clicking your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of spit in there.
Yeah, yours is
it's
really
not very
gross.
attractive when you do it. Please stop.
Oh, I'm sure somebody really likes it.
Wait, it's attractive when I do it? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the AITA pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by Shake.
Hey.
Jake and Shannon. We're here at Jake's house, and it's really
Jake's lair.
Jake's wonderful abode. He has a girlfriend, so it's all nice and shit.
That's true.
It wouldn't be this nice if I was single, but it also wouldn't be a disaster. I like interior decor.
It would be nicer than my house because you guys will see this soon, but Jake kind of roasted me in my bathroom.
I would
during the live
argue.
show.
I would argue my girlfriend roasted you, and I just relayed.
Well,
the
what she
information.
said was, she said, "I'm so happy your bathroom is better than Danny's." Roughly the
No,
quote.
she said, "I'm so grateful you take care of your bathroom."
Oh, that's a little bit more brutal.
It's pretty rough.
And-
it got a big woof.
Yeah, no, it hurt. It
My
hurt.
mouth
It hurt.
dropped.
And I went into your bathroom and I was like, "Shut up. Jake did not do this." And Jackie testified that.
Oh, that was all you.
It was good. It was
Lots
good,
of
dude.
soaps.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I feel like I saw a candle in
Soaps.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little trinket, those little tchotchke.
Tchotchkes.
So you really were out one day and you're like, "This is a bathroom tchotchke for me."
It's it depends. Some of those are just like found relics from family members of just like
Found a relic.
Yeah, just like
There was a dog.
So that's from my aunt. I got a box of her belongings, and that was in there. And I was just like, I don't want to throw this away. This is cute.
Because the
I'll
dog is
put this.
peeing, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it works really well in a
Because
bathroom.
you're peeing in the bathroom.
You can relate to the
Exactly.
dog. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cute place, and we're here in Tarzana.
Tarzana.
But I gotta call out Jay because he was going on, "Oh, everybody should go to the San Fernando Valley. There's unlimited parking and money rains from the sky." But no, I had to find parking.
You had
and-
to go around the block.
Yeah.
That's
Did
pretty
you find it?
standard.
At 6. What is it? 5 p.m. on a Wednesday.
This
yeah.
is so LA right now.
It's gonna be a little bit
It's
more
not
competitive.
That bad, bro.
You were afraid
It's
to park in the
literally
Gelson's parking
not that
lot,
bad.
and I'm telling you could park in that
Okay,
thing for
tell
a
me,
week.
because I was towed in college, and I have tow trauma.
Scarring.
Post
I
lockdown
don't
in
fuck
LA.
with that.
I just got towed last month.
See, I don't mess with. Oh well, that
Take
was
it in tow.
that was a little bit different. We won't go into what happened to Shannon, but I mean, look, guys. It is what it is. It's California. Can I say that? Everybody, enough with the Cali.
I like that. I say
Enough
Cali
with the
too.
Cali.
I'll do it all.
Cali,
say
I've said
Cali.
it before. Cali doesn't bother me that much, but California, the one that gets me,
I love that
I
one.
don't like La La Land. I don't like Tinseltown.
La La Land sucks. Yeah,
It's
that's
awful.
ridiculous. That's too much work.
Oh, I didn't realize Tinseltown
Tinseltown.
was.
Yeah, that's a
I
Hollywood
thought that was
thing.
Hollywood.
It's Hollywood specific, but that's something that like I grew up here, and I've always like anytime like a LA team is playing a sports team from anywhere else, the other sports team gets billed as like hard, relentless, forged in fire, iron built, blue collar. And then the pitch for the Lakers is showtime in Hollywood. Come on down. It's all flash. And it's just like that's not the only thing in this town.
Yeah.
There's other things you can
There's
talk
traffic.
about. There's traffic. Gridlock. I've always thought that would be a great name for a team in LA.
Oh, I like
Oh, that
that.
would be
The Los
good.
Angeles Gridlock.
So you
Sounds
just want
good.
it to be
Honest.
a little bit more macho.
Not necessarily macho. I just want it to be
That's what it sounds
reflective.
like to me.
I want it to be reflective of the working
Toxic
class
masculinity.
in Los Angeles, which is
Yeah.
men and women, which there is a rich
It's
history
a sports
of.
team, though. I agree with you. It needs to have a little grit. You can't just be like, "We're the Phoenix Blue Skies. Hi, everybody." No, we're the Suns. It burns you. It kills you. It gives you cancer. Let's go. Our mascot's a gorilla. What?
Because the gorilla is strong enough to dribble the sun like a basketball.
Wait, the
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns mascot
mascot's
is
a
a
gorilla.
gorilla?
Yeah.
I thought it was a basketball on fire.
No,
That's their logo.
That would make sense.
That's the logo. That's
but
what's
isn't
on the
the
jersey.
logo usually the same thing as the mascot?
Usually, but because it's the Suns, they made the decision of like, let's not have some dumbass sun like waddling
that would be
around
corny. Well, isn't
with
that like
sunglasses.
7
Oh,
Up? Isn't
I
that
would
like a
like
logo?
that.
Like,
The red dot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but what does
kinda-
the gorilla have to do with it?
Nobody knows. But this gorilla.
Nobody explains it. The Phoenix Suns have gaslit us for years. They're just like, "Yeah, it's a gorilla. What?"
But that gorilla is
gorilla.
one of the top 5 most popular mascots
It's
in
a great-
I have
sports.
to look this up.
Super
It gets
athletic.
the people going.
Does these like crazy trampoline slam dunks,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
gets into shenanigans in the
Oh.
crowd. It's it's really popular.
I always wanted to be a mascot, like a school mascot.
What would you be?
yeah.
Well, whatever the school wanted me to be.
Denver Dits.
What? Wow.
What I
calling
called her a
me
ditz.
ditzy?
You're a bit ditzy. Is that too far?
Wow. I think it just clicked
As
for
she's
her.
stuck on her iPad. Come on, Shannon. You don't
I'm
identify
ditzy?
as slightly ditzy? A little bit.
No way.
No?
I am extremely bookish and intelligent.
Bookish? Shannon.
What qualifies somebody as bookish?
You gotta
just
be
real quick?
reading, Jay.
You gotta be reading a lot.
You gotta be reading.
I
How many
read a
books have
book.
you read this year?
Actually, I am reading a book right now.
There you go.
But other than that, I didn't read any last year.
I think that bookish also qualifies as like
It's definitely not zero.
how cute do you look peeking up over a book? I think that's a bookish
Oh,
qualifier.
that's how you're-
That's
That's
giving
how
it
you're
to her.
bookish.
She's obviously gonna look cute. She's an actress.
Oh, thank you.
I do want to circle back because I was my high school's mascot.
No.
Yeah, my senior year. My knee had
my
gotten all blown
God.
out. I couldn't do sports.
What
so
were you?
We were the Warriors. So I actually got to make it pretty cool. We modeled it a little bit after USC's Trojan, which is just like a straight up dude in like
Yeah.
armor with a sword. And we had been, let's just say, a mascot that didn't fly anymore politically. So we had a few years where we were nothing. We were just our high school. And then we finally
That's
had,
sad.
it really sucked. All of our sports teams were terrible. And it was just like, who are we playing this week? They're nothing. They're just the
nothings.
students. They're the
They're the
students at that
students
school.
No, right. That's. But what is? But no, what was it? Is it that bad? You're not willing to say?
No, well, it was
Like-
like a Trojan.
No, it was the Indians. I was just trying to
Okay.
avoid the topic, but
That's not as bad
it
as
is-
NFL teams.
So here's why it's bad. Because our school is connected to the San Fernando Valley Mission, which famously the California missions were a way to indoctrinate and basically enslave the local populace of the different tribes that lived up and down California. So us being the Indians had a
Yeah,
particular,
that's bad.
and you know, a lot of kids in that school we even knew, like, this isn't okay. Like, we
Yeah.
know all the ghost
Even the
stories.
kids are upset about it?
When you have 14-year-olds in 2005 going, I think we need to re-examine this,
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
it's bad.
They're dropping the F slur and they're like, but our logo is problematic. I would argue.
So we had a vote, and I still feel like we really missed out because on either side of our school's driveway as you pulled in was a graveyard. So one of the faculty,
Jeez.
one of the faculty pitched the grave diggers, and it was too ahead of its time. No, we had a plan. Mascot was going to be the Grim Reaper. We were going to have,
that's good.
we were going to like come out to the bell, like AC/DC's Helps Bells,
That's
all the
sick.
sports teams, like really like go for it on that. But there just wasn't enough people excited. So we wound up being the Warriors, and like it was a suit of armor. I had a sword and a shield. I was mainly just led the crowd in cheers and stuff. As you all know, I have a very loud voice, so I was just sort of a
Yeah.
natural at it.
Jake's
And
actuty like a mile away from Shannon and I. Just kind of
I'm not even in my
broadcasting.
apartment. I'm over in the Gelson's parking lot. I'm not getting towed. But it was a lot of fun, and it definitely, like, that was kind of when I was coming into my own, doing performing and kind of figuring out
That's cool.
stuff that I was
That's
good
so
at.
fun. You'll have
So-
to post a picture.
We got some listener mail, a lot of sweet messages here. Somebody wrote, "Hey Danny, I just came to say your pod was my #1 on Spotify for 2022. I never miss an ep and can't wait to hear what you have in store for the future." Thank you so
very sweet.
much. Love this message. Hi Danny and friends. I was at your live AITA event tonight, 113. Had so much fun. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't fangirling a little bit. Danny, you accidentally bumped into my friend Veronica, and I joked saying she could never wash her shoulder ever again.
Wow.
You have
That
been
tickled me.
You have been salivating to read that on air.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
been
I
so
think it's
excited. No, it's
fun.
very sweet. It's
It's
very sweet. You
sweet.
deserve your flowers, no doubt about it.
Obviously,
What a good feeling.
I'm not famous. Like, it's funny to me because I'm like, I cry. This is a show about me crying and like having a normal life. Like, you guys are my first friends. Like, I'm not cool. So
you
this is
are.
funny.
No, you deserve your flowers,
No,
man.
it's very
Seriously.
sweet. I love it.
It's
Just
very
busting your
sweet.
balls.
It's very sweet.
I think they're insane,
You're in this
but-
too, Jake.
What?
I sat next to Jake's GF. Jackie for some of the show,
shout out.
and even got to talk to Shannon for a bit afterwards.
Wow.
She was a bit
know.
ditzy, but I tolerated it. I'm just kidding. I made that up.
I thought you were. I thought you were playing the long con and set up that ditz. Like, ooh, I'm gonna get her.
I love the pod, and while I miss Sarah a lot, I've really been enjoying all the new content with Shake and Lily. Love you guys, and can't wait to see what you have planned next. P.S. My BF is getting me a Patreon subscription for my birthday soon.
Ooh,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you so much, Alden, and I hope you do enjoy the juice in
It
those
was so good
bonus
talking
episodes.
to you after, and thanks so much for coming to our show.
Yeah, and we are gonna do another show.
Oh my God,
And,
did we not have the best time or
We
what?
had the best time.
I
And,
loved it.
Well, Sarah's visiting LA in March. I know it's a little sooner than what we talked about, but
I'm
Is she
in.
gonna, is
You're
she
in?
gonna hop
I'm in.
on?
here we go. Yeah,
Hell
she's super
yeah.
down. So, all right, now that I've spread some Danny propaganda, let's get to reality, pissing people off. I did number all the episodes. This is before your guys' time. I took the time to number all the episodes, and how has this been used? For people to tell me which episode number upset them. So, it was 204. I said, who cares about Argentina before 204, but on 204, I said Latin American culture tends to be pretty sexist. I could say that. I'm Cuban.
Yep.
True.
I'm gonna defer to you on that.
Thank you. And it's true. In Miami, you see a lot. It's very Scottsdale. It's very much like, a lot of relatives of mine, for instance, like their education as women was not prioritized in the family, or even like, you don't need it. What? You don't need to get more educated, right? It's like the men need to get educated.
Yeah.
It's in the Cuban water. Not every Cuban, but it's out there. But this person, I wanted to share their perspective. They're an Asian descendant, Argentina raised listener. So they've been to more countries than me just by being alive. Said that's not true in Argentina. She said that 6 out of 10 people in higher education there are women, and that she is studying STEM. She also claimed to have forgiven me because I said, I don't care. I said nobody cares about Argentina. Which
Wow.
I don't know why I said that.
In what
but
context?
I thought it probably just being an asshole. I don't know why I said that.
This was 200 episodes ago.
This was years ago.
Yeah, you were way further down your ladder of personal growth. At
Thank
that
you.
point.
And I have a long accountability trail that I have to keep up on. It's brutal.
Yep.
But it was funny. So she said she forgave me for it, but then ended her email with a 7-point list of Argentina facts.
Oh.
And I do care more about Argentina having learned these facts, but there was a couple I wanted to share with you guys. I just wanted to hear what you thought. Here's one of the facts. She wrote, "We have, or maybe used to have, the widest avenue in the world."
Okay.
That's cool.
That's
You're giving it to her,
very
okay.
interesting
Oh,
fact.
yeah. It's something, right?
Yeah, I just kind of felt like it was reaching, and then it's like, what really is an avenue?
Well,
And
it's
then
just she said it was a list of facts. Like she didn't say interesting facts.
Well, the other ones were facts. Yeah, I called it a list of facts.
I think too, if it's the one that I know I've seen pictures of a particular street avenue in Argentina.
There we go.
And if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's a beautiful like canyon of buildings. And
All right,
like
we're giving it to her. We're giving it to her. We're giving it to her.
that
Jake
would be
likes the
cool
app.
to like dance in the rain in it.
or
we go.
celebrate winning the World Cup, which like there's drone footage
yeah.
of that street.
There we go.
With everybody filling it up and partying, and it's amazing.
Okay, let me share this
yeah,
other
I'm
fact
looking
with
up
you.
some pics of it.
She just wrote, "We love meat."
Sure.
Well, don't you know about how they?
I thought you guys were going to help me roast this
I
girl.
mean,
We
I'm-
They
love
have the
meat.
best
I mean,
meat.
no, that's-
They're the cows.
We love meat. I mean, everybody loves meat.
I'm saying sure, more like I'm waiting for
Sure.
that. And what
No,
about
exactly.
it?
That's all she wrote. We love meat. I'm like, can you really be proud of your people because they love meat? I mean, come on.
I would argue
Yeah?
Argentinian cuisine.
They
the
say
red,
they have the
red
best.
meat. Yeah, the red meat.
Messi flew in the cows or whatever for them to eat in the World Cup.
That's pretty grim. Think about being a
flew
cow.
Not the cows.
Flew,
I'm
man.
just saying, like he flew in meat from Argentina to feed his team so they could,
Okay.
cinch that World Cup.
Because the most 1% thing ever would have been flying live cattle across the Pacific Ocean.
If you're a cow, wouldn't you be
Atlantic
like,
Ocean, sorry.
everything's going to be different now because I'm in, I've clearly become famous or something. I'm in a plane.
I made it. I don't know
made
what
it.
made it too.
I made it.
Oh, that's brutal.
And then you just land in Qatar to get immediately, I don't know,
Slaughtered.
chopped,
Be honest. Chopped, diced.
beheaded or shot.
all of the above.
That thing they use in No Country for Old Men.
Oh,
that
the
fires
air
little-
puncher.
It sounds like you trying to. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Please join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. We got a Discord that's popping off. Jake has his own channel now. Shannon has her own channel now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. Sarah's got her own channel. It's popping the heck off in there. We love to see it. Please join us. $5 a month. We got... I think we got 140 bonus eps now.
Yeah. We spill our tea there.
Shannon honestly might have the juiciest juice that we've dropped in 6 months.
One of our best episodes.
It's
One of the
wild.
best, you think?
You guys think you know Shannon? You don't know Shannon. You don't know anything about Shannon. You think she's so nice. Well, guess what? She is.
And ditzy, apparently.
Our second story of the day, and these are some listener submissions, I believe. AITA for protecting myself after being threatened by a coworker. That is a listener submission. I guarantee it. But first, people, it's AITA for getting only one friend's spouse a dessert and not others at the restaurant. I went to dinner with the boys after almost 2 years. We have hung out here and there, but this is the first time we all came out together, just us. And also no spouses. At the end of the meal, I said I'd take care of the bill. It was 6 of us, and I was happy to treat everyone as a late holiday thing. We were all done eating and chatted for a while no one was ordering any drinks, and we shared 2 desserts that everyone at the table picked at. Mike waved the waitress over and ordered a slice of cake to go for his wife. This was before I said I would take care of the bill. While the waitress was there, I asked for the bill. She said, 1 bill or separate? And I said, just 1. This means it included Mike's cake slice for his wife. As soon as the waitress walks off, Tom said he wanted to order a slice of cake for his wife, and Rob wanted 2 slices for his kids. These slices were like $14 each. The waitress came back with the bill and machine to charge my card, and that's when Tom and Rob ordered their slices of cake. The waitress took my card, and Rob blurted out, "Oh, add the slices of cake to this bill." The waitress said she would have to go back and reprint the receipt to add the cakes. I then said, "Please ring this up. I'm not paying for the other cakes, just whatever's on this bill." And the waitress swiped my card and I paid. After the waitress left, Rob and Tom said I was cheap and that it wasn't fair that I bought Mike's wife a slice of cake but not the other spouses or kids. I said Mike ordered when I got the bill while you both just added it in because he knew I was paying, which is shitty. The other 3 guys at the table would not get involved, and Mike offered to send me money for the slice of cake. I told him not to worry about it. AITA for not getting cake for Rob or Tom.
These men.
Be very careful always when you pick up the whole bill for everybody. You got to be prepared for what I'm opening. I'm going somewhere.
I'm letting you go
because people who suck will see that and think, hot dag, looks like I'm getting a free meal again. And they will take advantage of that. And these friends, they saw their free ticket and thought, oh, I need to double down on this value. And that's not what friends do. It's super shitty, but people do that. So I'm not saying it as a ding on the OP by any means, but when you offer, that's why if I ever pay the bill for something, I do it real sneaky. Sneaky.
Or on the way to the bathroom.
Or I'll give my card when I'll beat everybody else to the restaurant, give my card to the server and be like, everything on this card. And then just bring it to me.
Because there's nothing tackier than when once you find out someone's paying for the meal, being like, actually upgrade my Americano to a latte, please, with macadamia nut milk.
I know I said
I
know I said I was just going to have bread and butter, but this lobster looks absolutely
I know, right?
tantalizing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that who was going to eat just bread and butter? This creature that's got out with us.
I'm Clyde.
Oh, Clyde.
I'm brothers with
Clyde's
Robert.
hard on
Who
times,
invited you,
Danny.
Clyde?
You knew that.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm so disgusted at this glomming on.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
gross.
you're with 6 adults, right? I mean, how old are these people? Did we get the age? Are they 30 something?
Well, they have to be old enough where they have
on.
kids.
It's
so
reading late
Exactly.
30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
You know,
I
at
would
least
guess
late
that.
20s at the very youngest. Like, this is just so disgusting to me that someone would do
Disgusting.
this.
And let me
right?
ask y'all, how do y'all feel about desserts at a restaurant? Do you usually go for them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you
Depends.
don't?
If I'm in a
No.
real city like New York, that's a jab at Jake. You can go somewhere else to a restaurant, you know, for dessert after. But
I do like that move.
You could do
as
that
well,
here,
though.
too,
like
to be
I love
honest.
that. Like, ooh, let's walk it off a little,
Yeah,
and then we go and get
exactly.
ice cream somewhere.
Salt and
But
straw.
Oh
I
my
love
God,
salt and
Yeah,
straw.
right.
I love salt and straw.
Ooh. always trying to get salt and straw.
Salt and straw. I'm big on this. Not
It's
to
ice cream
I
place.
actually do stand the brand, so I'm willing to promote them. They
Sure.
have a
So
shoot,
good.
a spoon shoot. And that's how you get when you're done with your spoon, you get a tasting spoon.
Yeah.
Not a cheap piece of plastic, like a metal spoon.
No, it's metal, yeah.
And then you put it in a spoon shoot, and you can hear it kind of slide away.
Yeah.
Oh, the
I
one I
like
have doesn't do that.
That's because yours sucks. So at the one I go to, which is great,
Okay.
they got a shoot, and it's very memorable because when do you ever use a shoot like
Yeah,
that?
that sounds
it's fun,
right? It's very fun.
My girlfriend's old apartment had a trash chute, and I've never had access to one of those before. Boy, that's a fun way to get rid of garbage.
That
That
is
is
the best way,
fun.
and it's so close. You don't have to walk outside or be exposed to the elements. You just walk right to the trash chute. Fantastic.
I do have to say though, I always like to look at the desserts on the menu. Like even if I'm not going to order something, I'm like, well, we got to take a little look.
Maybe they got something special, you know?
Yeah, you
I mean,
never know. A little strawberry shortcake.
yeah,
Tres
staple.
leches. Forget it.
Yeah, I mean, as a Cuban, I'm a little picky on tres leche, but I do love me a classic hot brownie with ice cream on top. You can't
Oh,
fuck
you
it up.
can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. It's always
Although,
good.
A lot of times they take long. Like, have you ever been? Most of the time at restaurants,
you're
it's
one of
like
these people.
20 minutes. No, they say.
for the best tasting thing.
Well, they always say like, well, just so
Because
you
they
guys
heat
know,
it because it's a
we
cast
need to
iron.
order it ahead of time.
It's a cast iron thing, and so the brownie's nice and hot, and that contrast with the ice cream, and that's what makes it so good.
I'm not arguing
I
about
want to go
it.
home. I want to go home. Anyway, these guys are
Just letting
monsters.
y'all go. I would, yeah. I think that this group of friends really sucks, and it's probably a good thing that you guys can't get together that often.
These two guys really
The
suck,
fact
right?
that
Are
yeah,
you're not
it's
jumping
the guys,
for OP.
the OP, Mike, and the three other guys who didn't want to get involved. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with them, but
Oh, okay.
Rob, honestly, and I don't even know if because Tom was upset too, but Rob blurts out, "Add the slices of cake to this bill." Like that is so tacky, honey.
That is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
That's really
Who does
underhanded.
that?
This is like a White Lotus group. This is like the least interesting people in a season of White Lotus, where you're just oh, one of them died. I don't care.
Yeah, don't bring
Yes.
them back. Oh no. I did think it was also classy how one of the guys, Mike, said, "Oh, I'll give you the money back."
I did like
Yeah.
that.
Kind of made it fair again.
No, that's
that was
fine.
classy.
That's
And
like nothing
I'm glad
happened.
that the OP was just like, no, don't worry about it. But I do like that the friend did that because that I definitely would have done that too. I'd have been like, well, I can pay you, so it's
Yeah,
not like a big
yeah.
deal.
Throwing out cheap is also such a shot
Disgusting.
on your character when it's
Yes.
like, no man, you're breaking a totally understood social norm. Like you're
kindness.
you're just looking for bonus cake. Like
Yes.
how
He
childish.
just paid for your whole ass meal
Yeah.
and drinks, I'm sure, and you're gonna call him cheap? That is so rude, disrespectful, ungrateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just low. It's just such a, I don't know. It's like, it's not even a juicy, shitty behavior. It's just like, I feel like the most heinous of criminals would be like, what are you talking about? You pay for your own
Yeah,
slices
right,
of cake.
right, exactly.
I know that. I'm the head
Exactly,
eater
yeah.
and I know that.
I was the CEO of Enron, but please, defrauding millions, that's fine, but this is wrong.
This is
It's
sin.
gross. It's gross.
I do like that the OP like stood his ground and was like, no, I'm just paying for whatever's on this bill. If that was me, I would have probably, because I'm very unassertive, I would have been like, okay, yeah, you can just add him to the bill to make it not awkward. But
You're working on
I
that.
commend him.
We've talked about that, though.
Yeah.
You're working on that.
I mean, I don't know if I'm working on it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying in therapy. I don't know if it's really working, but I'm very much like,
You let yourself get walked on?
oh my God, do I ever?
Which
Oh,
you
yeah.
have such a powerful presence. It is surprising to me because
I
I never
know.
would have branded you as a
Yeah.
pushover. in
Yes.
my
Oh
head.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. I don't like confrontation. I'll just, yeah, you can walk all over me. If you guys want to, go for it.
No.
I'm just
No.
kidding.
What?
I'm joking.
Are we cool? Are we good? Do I need to do check-ins with you? Like, was that Ditz thing too far? Are you good?
Not at all. No.
Yeah. Don't do that. Passive aggression.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but I commend this guy for doing that. I think it's great that he held his ground, especially I think because of the bill, the having to reprint the receipt.
Yeah, that was
able for him to be like,
crazy.
nah, like don't go through that problem because then you're also making the waitress work a little
Right.
harder.
Yeah.
I will say though, if a table is okay, first of all, $14 for a slice of cake. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, we
how
must
good
be
is
at a
this
nice
cake?
Is this Sean
It's-
George?
It's just
Like,
a
what is
nice
this?
restaurant.
Yeah, so this has got to be really
like anywhere in
solid.
LA, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. This is why I don't do desserts at restaurants. I don't have a crazy sweet tooth, but I don't mind like what you were talking about of taking a walk and getting something. But like desserts at restaurants, it's just like unless there's something that it's like, no, you need to try this.
Yeah.
I just don't care. It's like, okay, it's sweets. I've had sweets before. I'd rather not pay $22 for the Big Brownie Death Fudge Bonanza.
Yeah,
or
and he
whatever
has
they
a bowl
brand it.
of Christmas candies at his door.
That's more
you go.
decor. I nibble on those here and there.
There's
but
also Chinese fortune cookies in them as well.
Well, yeah, because where else are you going to put them? It's just like,
Okay,
they go in the candy
Shannon
dish.
is naming things around the room. AITA for getting only one. This is not I Spy. That is not the show we're on today.
That's a pretty good idea for a podcast, though.
I don't think so. Because nobody else can see it, Jake. That's one of the key problems.
Yeah, so you got to be real descriptive.
No, dude, they give the best descriptions of the things that they're seeing.
I feel like I'm in there with them.
No, Clyde, there's a medium for this. That's called film and television.
This is the future.
Why are you listening to okay. AITA for getting only one's friend, spouse, a dessert, and not others at the restaurant. I think we all agree wholeheartedly. It's a whopping NTA.
NTA.
And the friends are these two assholes.
Big YTAs.
Oh yeah.
Now, this one is a juicy listener submission. AITA for snitching on my coworker for stealing cocktails and drinking on shift. My coworker, 30F, and I, 24F, have worked together for over 3 years at a local restaurant as waitresses. I feel like when you work with someone for that long, especially in an industry where there's such high employee turnover, you develop a certain level of respect and connection. I wouldn't say we're besties, but I've given her several gifts. I remembered her birthday. We send memes back and forth, etc. Now, no shade, but she is known to be a hothead and also somewhat lazy by other coworkers. She's been known to skip tasks on purpose, and at the end of the day, it's not unusual for her to sit down with a cocktail that she doesn't pay for, even though she says she does when coworkers ask. I know she doesn't. For about 20 to 30 minutes while she counts her till and tips out the bussers, which is actually just her chatting with the kitchen staff, playing on her phone, etc., while doing some work here and there in between. This is just how she operates. And due to our mutual level of respect that I thought we developed, I have never said anything or made any comments about any of this. I feel like it's important to add that I will go out back and use a weed vape, and she does as well. So she knows I do. Once again, I thought we just had that mutual level of respect for each other, knowing that work is rough and the hours are long and our feet really just effing hurt after a shift. We just let each other have our little secret vices to get through the day. The other day at work, my manager, 40F, asked me to do a task to help her with the upcoming tax season, which involved me sitting and being on my phone to help her. I was on shift with said coworker and everything seemed to be totally fine until she somewhat completely randomly came back while I was working on the back POS system with another coworker doing prep work beside me and told us she felt like she was busting her ass with no help and needed us in the dining room. I apologized, even though I was confused because it was a slow day, and told her I just needed to get this order in and I'd be out. I thought everything was cool until I added that she wasn't just talking about right now. She was talking about my behavior all day that day. I was immediately triggered, I won't lie. I feel like I usually can keep my cool at work, but I am a very emotional person, so I was angry. I feel like it was disrespectful and unnecessary for her to add that extra comment to attack my work ethic at the end, especially because I feel like I can admit when I'm slacking off at work, which I do sometimes. But that day was not one of those days. I was really confused and hurt because I thought we were just closer than that. My manager then came back and asked what was wrong. I expressed what had just happened, and my manager started to laugh and said there were barely any tables that my coworker was working with, and she was just being dramatic because she's jealous that I'm working on the tax paperwork and not her. This made me even more upset because I really didn't care about working on the paperwork. I was just doing what I was told. Came back out to the dining room. My coworker was loudly speaking with one of our regular customers and said, I don't really care if they can take criticism. That's on them.
They can't take criticism.
I can't 100% confirm this comment was about me, but it was just minutes after the whole incident, so I think it's fair to assume that it was about me. This was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Sent me over the edge because I think it's really not cool to be talking about me to a customer. I really didn't know how to react, so I just didn't speak to her for the rest of the day and quickly did my task so I could leave. I'm bubbly, very bubbly, and usually leave saying bye to everyone. So at the time, I thought that saying nothing was a statement in and of itself. I think it was too, right? Yeah. She's always bubbly. They knew. Yeah. They knew something was wrong. I went home that evening, vented to my BF. He told me that he felt like it was really rude of her to act that way toward me because of the relationship we have. He also said it was wrong of my manager not to handle the situation better. After talking to him, I was kind of fired up again, and when I saw her drinking her stolen cocktail the next day, my anger got the better of me. I texted my manager and totally snitched on my coworker. I told my manager that she'd been stealing cocktails for months, and to really twist a knife, I added that she's probably stolen over $500 in drinks over the past year. I totally felt awesome in the moment, but then I got worried she might snitch back in return for me smoking a little jazz cabbage on shift, but I remembered that she does it too, so I felt like there was no way she would do that. After my immediate hit of dopamine from the feeling of sweet revenge, I started feeling really bad. I feel like there's just something really messed up about me snitching on her for stealing alcohol because I also bend the rules myself when I get stoned at work, and it would totally suck for someone to snitch on me. I don't think that my coworker and manager have been on shift together since the snitching, so I don't know if anything has come of it yet. Obviously, there's no taking it back now. If she loses her job over it, I'm going to feel horrible. But I feel like I needed to make a statement that I won't put up with that type of treatment because I feel like she was bullying me. And even though she's known for her outbursts at times, I think that it was reasonable for her to make me the target of her projection. AITA. Wow, a big sigh from the peanut gallery.
Thank you for sharing this with us. We are gonna start unpacking this. But this is some modular furniture from IKEA because there is a lot to unpack.
There we go.
Here.
It's on a sticker. I think there's a lot of juice here because, and I first of all really like how they labeled this a relationship. I thought that was mature and fair, and not something very conventional, but like everyone you consistently interact with, you have a relationship with and a dynamic with.
Totally.
They don't have to be your bestie. They don't even have to really technically be your friend, but they're a human being and you're part of their world. And I like the way they set this up.
You clearly have a grasp over how the unwritten rules of that coworker dynamic. As long as you can function on the same team, as long as the gears keep turning, everybody is doing their job and we can all go home at the end of the day. And that's the most important thing. And it sounds like you're dealing with somebody who is, if they're not being the squeaky wheel, they're being the gunky wheel, and they're kind of slowing you down a little bit. They're not quite in your rhythm, and that can be very, very, very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely can be frustrating when you're feeling like you're picking up the slack when when your coworkers are slacking off.
I didn't get that energy though from OP. She says that this other girl is slacking off, but I don't think
she's not picking it up.
She's not picking up the slack. She's noticing that, look, sometimes she slacks off, but then OP also acknowledges that sometimes she likes to go out and hit the vape.
Well, and I mean, hitting a vape pen, and look, obviously I'm biased here, but I've worked with people who were drunk on the clock, and I've worked with people who are high on the clock. People who are high on the clock, I have been around dozens of them. They never fuck anything up.
But I think both of these people are doing their job. The point is that this other person is maybe sipping their drink or whatever, not paying.
I don't care.
Well, that's the main thing.
I don't care either.
And I don't really care either, but I'm just saying, like, between the pen and drinking the drink is that she's technically stealing from the restaurant when she's smoking the weed pen, like she's not actually stealing from the establishment.
Right.
True.
And that'll also, depending on what state, probably wouldn't. This manager does not sound like they'd be the type, and we have a narrow window on that.
Sure.
Doesn't strike me as the type who's going to go after you for using, I guess I'm assuming, illegal substance. It could still be illegal where you are, which in that case, it could be a zero tolerance policy. Mm-hmm. So you are risking a lot there. I do want to call out that the offendee, the person who's now on the hook for this, you did kind of go scorched earth to where she will rat you out for your weed. She absolutely will. You've accused her of stealing from the restaurant. Yes. This is not an if. You need to prepare your opening statement when you... Yeah.
be a counterattack.
You are going to be drug into an HR situation. This is going to be most likely you and her sitting at the same table with an HR agent present. That's not a guarantee. Some places won't handle it like that, but accusations of theft and then a counter of using illicit substances on company property, that's going to be a dual meeting.
And you're not going to be getting any more of those fire memes that she sends you.
Yeah, that's another bummer.
The memes didn't quell this war, and that's really shameful because I've gotten along with work people for way less interesting things than a good meme feed.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's very true, and I actually think that what I draw from what you said about this action is that it was improvident. It was unwise. This was not in your own best interest, OP.
No, definitely not.
You took this fiery shot, and I honestly do think that it was driven by ego. Your ego was wounded by the fact that they apparently, by the way, let's just talk about the actual meaningfulness of talking shit about you to a customer. I promise you those customers could not give two flying fucks about the internal mechanics of your restaurant.
Although it's a regular customer. Have you ever met regulars?
Actually, no. I'm kind of fascinated with that.
Even in my limited experience, yes.
They are wild. They just it's like that's their living room, and they just come in.
Really?
And, and they're like, "Did you guys miss me?" And they like act like they know everything about you all, and you're just like everyone is like rolling their eyes.
Oh,
like
nobody likes them.
They update you on shit
really
in their
annoying.
life, like you're keeping tabs on it. Of just Darla left me.
And it's always that. It's always somebody left.
It's huge bombs that they're just telling you like, I can't help you with this. Do you want a steak?
Yeah.
And they always like notice if you got a new uniform or if something's changed or like, oh, did you guys miss me? And they're nuts. So I can imagine.
You never had a regular that you liked? This is so brutal.
Well, yeah. There was some that were nice, but they were always kind of like in the way too because they wanted like to talk to you a little longer.
Right.
So I can picture this regular being like, and also, but to your point, who gives a fuck what the regular thinks? Like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
All customers are mannequins that blink. That is how you need to think of them. That is how you will survive this shift. Is like until they leave. Once they leave, they're people again. But as long as they are in your place of business, they are just obstacles.
Metaphor.
I don't know if I like this.
Following.
I don't know if this is a productive mindset.
I'm just saying that don't give a shit what they think about you. Don't give
in
a
that
shit.
way. Yeah.
Like I don't care what a mannequin.
In terms of their appraisal of you.
Right. I'm not saying their worth as a mannequin. I'm saying that
I was like, this doesn't seem like a good way to treat customers.
It's pretty effective, honestly.
You're a plastic doll.
No, I'm telling you, neg customers, it works. Like, no, you don't want that weed. That's weed's too strong for you. You should have this little rinky-dink shitty weed. You're a little weak boy. You can't smoke the good stuff.
This is Jake selling me weed. My thought is here, I think this is a good exercise in control. OP is 24, so I can give them a little bit of grace. But I think
you're learning.
I think when you're mad at someone and when you're ratting someone out in a workplace scenario, you've got to really study this and you've got to really become impartial about it because I think this was such a dumb move. This was a self-defeating move.
Yeah.
And it really and here's the other thing, right? We did agree. We all kind of agreed that she was stealing, but no one cared. OP didn't care.
Oh, I used to do this all the time at my restaurant.
Well,
everyone ever in the capacity of a place that has food and alcohol is going to totally take a little bit off the top. I mean, please.
Oh, definitely.
The bar that I worked at actually handled this brilliantly where they would, as long as like you didn't take advantage of it, you were allowed to drink after the bar closed down.
Oh,
you need to have a safe way to get home.
That's how it should work.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break.
I'm shocked that they're... So the part that I really wanted to circle back to is you specifying that she's probably totaled up $500 worth of drinks. That's a nail in a coffin. That is something that will get somebody fired. If you just tell this manager who seems to be pretty even keel, seems to have a good head on her shoulders. If you just tell her, hey, I've been noticing she's been drinking at times where it's not appropriate and just not paying. Don't specify how often it's happened. Just say you saw it once or twice. because you're going to this like, and again, I don't think you should have said anything.
I don't think it should. Well,
No, absolutely not.
It all goes into why are you saying what you're saying, OP, and you knew why you were saying it. It was vengeance. It was
Right.
vengeance,
Yeah.
and vengeance is just not a productive mode.
And
Let
you're
me just
feeling
say
it.
that.
She's
Generally,
feeling it now.
But I
think she felt it as soon as she did it,
Yeah.
and was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
why did I just do
totally,
that?
totally.
Why did I just do that? I generally do not think exacting vengeance is productive.
No,
And I think
not
a
at
lot
all.
of movies kind of sell this, but like for certain things, like avenging the death of your father, fair enough. But like for the vast majority of things, like it's just gonna get you into more trouble. I promise you, they're gonna live a tortured little life because they're tortured little assholes.
You're
You don't
gonna-
need to get your
And they
vengeance.
always say the best revenge is just being happy and living your best life. And then the other person's like,
That is true, but I thought you were gonna say dish best served cold, which is just like the opposite of what we're talking about. But it is kind of funny to think about, like if she had held on to this for like 20 years, and then 20 years from now, just like, sorry, your car's being impounded. What? Who did this? And you're just behind the tow truck.
hold on to it.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's that might hit harder, but I totally agree with y'all.
And I also do understand that, like, why she would get upset about this, especially because her coworker seems to be a slacker, and then one for like a millisecond where OP's like quote unquote slacking, like because she's on her phone.
Yeah.
Then the other woman's like, "How dare you!" Like
That is
being a
annoying.
total bitch about it, and I would be like, "Oh well, you fucking never work."
It was mad shitty. It was
Yeah.
mad. And LP, I feel you. It was mad shitty what she
And
did.
even
I get you.
when I'm not picking up other people's slack, like anytime I worked in a restaurant, but I do see them kind of slacking off. Like it does bother me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why. There's something about, I guess, because like I feel like I'm a good worker, and so I think when I am working harder,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not picking up their slack, but I am definitely working harder
you're
for the
working
same
harder.
amount of pay.
Exactly. It's
then I'm sort of like,
frustrating.
what the hell? And then she's gonna flip it around on her. Like I can definitely see her being upset, but as the OP already knows, this wasn't the wisest of decisions.
The anger that you felt, totally relate. I've come home from shifts, you venting to your partner. I've had to call people specifically because of difficult coworkers that I couldn't stand,
Sure.
and just like go off on them.
Yeah.
And that's healthy and that's reasonable. I think that honestly, she was going to get caught for this one way or the other. I don't think she would have gotten away with this forever. Eventually, I mean, it's different everywhere, but it balances out and people start asking questions about where certain things are going. So I don't think you need to feel terrible to an extent where don't let this haunt you, but do learn from this, because it is very likely that this coworker could lose her job. And that's something that I don't think you should carry like an albatross. But it is something to just be aware of when you feel that anger. Anger has repercussions. And it's when you let that red hot heat take you over for just a second, it's going to do some fucked up things. And I don't think this defines you. You sound like a very thoughtful person. That comes through in how you wrote this out. But just keep it in mind that these kind of things, you usually regret them.
Yeah.
I think standard conflict management rules come in to play here if you're reporting someone at work, because in the end, the whole metaphor, like, oh, we're a family. I know we hate that, but like it is true in the sense of we are united by a common goal, right? That is why we all work at, the Chuckle Hut or whatever the fuck it is, right? So I think if you're gonna rat someone out, if that's essentially what you're doing, or whatever it is you're doing, whatever problem you're having, always frame it in terms of you, right? It's not appropriate to be like, well, Trixie is sipping drinks and she's not doing anything. Meh, 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 meh. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Irrelevant. Instead, what you say is, last night I wasn't able, there was nobody doing silverware and I had to stay here till 12:30 and there was no one else here because nobody was helping me. And you express this solely in terms of you and your job, right? And let them make the connections instead of
That's a
being a
great
narc
point.
and a rat. That's always the way to approach this.
Yeah, that's
You can frame it even better. Like, I want to give the best experience to our customers so that when I'm busy doing this busy work that should be a little bit more distributed, how am I supposed to go have a conversation with Mr. Schumacher, who comes in here every third Wednesday and tells me about the update with his stripper ex-wife?
Yeah.
She took the
She's
dog.
stripping again. She's back at the club. Isn't she a stripper, Mr. Schumacher? I know, but I thought she was with me now.
She takes the dog to the club. I miss the dog.
Yeah. Don't I get the dog? I don't have you or the dog. Is the dog getting naked? Is the dog dancing? It's a $20 cover.
Mr. Schumacher, again, do you want water?
Yes, my usual, the water with water. It's a bowl.
Ice cubes?
It's a bowl of hot water with a cup of cold water. And I always tip a quarter, and that's all he ever does.
That is a pretty hefty tip.
That was like you earlier when Jake offered you a cold beverage.
Oh, boy.
And he was like,
boy.
do you want what is it, Topo Chico or a LaCroix? And Danny's like, oh, well, I'm a little cold, so I don't know if I can have that right now. But could you bring...
I had to
Oh, my God.
Could you bring me a jacket?
I had to go back to my closet and find a Zippo hoodie for Danny.
So
Right
that
now.
he could have a Topo Chico because he couldn't have it.
Wow,
without the
having that played
jacket.
back. What an embarrassing person.
I
Hey,
didn't think
And
twice
then,
about
and then he goes to Jake's bathroom, and then he comes back and his fly's undone.
Well, that
Shannon,
feels...
Can I be a human?
Yeah, I feel
Can
like...
I be a human, Shannon?
you were doing a bit, and now it's bullying.
It was just such a series of events.
AITA for snitching on my coworker for stealing cocktails and drinking on shift. OP, we love you. And thanks for the really great submission. I thought this brought us to a lot of interesting places, but nonetheless, because you acted out of your own self-disinterest and you were a narc, even though like what you did was like kind of fair,
Yeah.
I actually am going here for an ESH.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say ESH.
It's an ESH.
Yeah,
and
'cause
that's
coworker.
not a condemnation. We all make mistakes, and anger is fucking tough.
Super normal mistake to make as a 24-year-old. I mean, guys,
Oh.
I've literally made this mistake in the past couple of years, you know, and now I'll feel an impulse and I'm like, we must control the, it will go away. Let me just say, I say this to myself a lot, like whatever I'm feeling, like it'll pass. It'll pass.
You never make decisions like this when you're feeling some kind of way.
I love that.
Wait until you feel normal and
Yes,
level and see how
yes.
much you still care about it, because that'll tell you the balance of logic and emotion involved. But again, like Danny, you nailed it. I've done some petty shit over stuff at work that I did not care for going down, and I've regretted it every single
Yeah, it's
time.
always embarrassing afterwards.
I've never gotten anybody fired. I have had to fire people. Have you guys ever had to fire
Oh,
anybody?
hell no. Can you imagine me trying to fire somebody?
It'd be the
I would
nicest.
never do it.
They wouldn't know they were fired. They
Yeah,
would,
fire me right now from the
yeah,
podcast. Shannon.
my man.
my God.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Do that.
Fire you from the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
This might be the exception.
Just pretend
that
it's
proves the
your
rule.
podcast. It's the Shannon
Pretend
podcast.
it's mine. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying. I was surprised we had a meeting after the recording because we usually just go our separate ways. But thanks for having me on your show, Shannon.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Jake has something to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Shannon, the reports you wanted, they're on your desk. I'm
No,
not.
you had something to tell Danny.
Oh well, yeah. I was going to tell you I accidentally parked in your spot this morning.
No,
it's
that other
It's
thing.
no
I
problem.
don't know
The
what you're.
other thing we had
It's
talked
no
about
problem.
earlier.
I feel like you want me to yes and this, but we didn't establish this before. You didn't tell me
Guys,
anything.
Just say it. It's no
to
big
tell
deal.
Danny.
What?
It's no big. Is this about the plug, the anal plug I started wearing every day? Is this about that?
I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, Danny.
Is this about
hold
that?
on. Hold on. Shannon, just fucking do it.
I can't.
He fucking farts all fucking day.
Well, he's wearing an anal plug.
Is
now.
this about the
What's
lemur?
problem?
It's one lemur.
I think it.
It's one lemur. He's a
It's
good boy.
partially about
Where
the
is the
lemur.
lemur?
That's the problem, Danny. You don't track the lemur.
Well,
need to
he's
keep
fast.
your lemur in a cage.
Shannon, you don't even clean this fucking office.
Okay, this is your job. You are in charge
Guys,
of this
why are
office.
we here? I have hot yoga.
Okay, well, actually-
Technically, it's not hot because it's 90 degrees. I'm learning 110 degrees is hot. 90 degrees is just like warm, I guess.
Can you just
So,
fucking do this?
Okay. I think you should go to hot yoga and never come back.
well, I don't understand. What
No.
do you? like,
you can
live at hot yoga?
No, you can leave hot yoga.
Yes.
I'm not doing this.
It's too hot to live there. Oh, the lemur! Motherfucker!
Danny, you're fired. You actually got me to fire him for you. That was impressive.
As I bleed out
I was
from the
dead
lemur.
set. I'm like, I'm not letting this game end with me firing Danny. But it sucks. It
Just
sucks
as I
having
planned.
and the job I had to do that at, it was like very limited work. It wasn't something where people were like counting on it to make ends meet. It was secondary jobs for everybody. But it was just one of those like cut and dry of like I told everybody when they went out and did their routes of like there's literally only 2 ways you can get fired. Faking your intel and showing and coming back here late because we have to get it back to the East Coast. And the only 2 people I had to fire was somebody faking it and somebody who came back late. And I told them every day before they went out, there's only 2 things that you can do to get fired from this job. And it sucked. It still sucked. One of them was not well. I don't know what was going on with him. He came back the next day to argue with me, and I still had a lot of piss and vinegar in me at the time. So I just came out halfway through the parking lot and basically just told him, your car's back that way. And because it was what he did to get fired, I'm undermining how insane it was.
Oh my God.
He came back at like midnight. He was supposed to be back by 9. I had to wait to like make sure, like just as I'm like about to call the cops, comes back. It's been raining. He tells me that he got into an argument on somebody's lawn for 2.5 hours before he came back. So it was just one of those like, I don't know if you're fucking with me or if you need help, but I can't give you either. So it was, but he came back to argue with me the next day, and I've never been so like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, what do you have to say for yourself after that? But it still sucked. I still hated doing it because people don't want to lose their jobs.
Okay.
But that's the only 2 times I've had to do it, and it still felt super icky.
Brutal.
Do not envy that.
Well, I'm rehiring myself. Haha. All right, we're going to play a dumb little round of assholes at the Rainforest Cafe. The classic gimmick restaurant, which some of you may or may not know, was set in a rainforest. The guy who actually brings his exotic animal to the Rainforest Cafe. What? You got toucans on the wall? I can't bring a little tiger cub in here?
It's the lemur again.
The lemur. Ah!
It's in the vents.
It's in the vents.
What about the woman that's just sitting on top of the gorilla statue? It's like, I want to turn.
Yeah. Can someone else take a picture with the gorilla statue? Karen?
Any server.
Hold on, I need some alts. Okay, we need some for the story, some for the main.
Any server at a theme restaurant, but particularly Rainforest Cafe, who leans way too hard into the gimmick of, hello, welcome to the dangerous Rainforest Cafe. What provisions will we be starting with?
Dude, she's pregnant. Can we just turn it down a little bit?
Cheesy nachos or wild parrot wings?
Do you have any tea?
Tea. Why, tea is incredibly hard to come by here in the Amazon, but I can see if we can wrangle some up for you in the back.
Lemur! Lemur kills everyone there. The guy is like, is that really the call of the I can't name animals like Jake.
This is just across the, is this a howler monkey? I think I hear a howler monkey. A cheetah.
That's a wolf, bro. That's a wolf.
Anybody who gets technical about like a Rainforest Cafe, you watch a movie and it's just like, there's no way the physics would allow somebody to re-enter the atmosphere of like, I'm just trying to watch Armageddon, man.
Right.
I'm not coming to this for scientific facts.
Right. Shit, I'm kind of like that.
Really?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, Max hates it. Like my boyfriend, when we watched Game of Thrones, like I'm like, I thought they were all the way in Westeros. How the fuck did they get over to this east side? It says it was supposed to take 6 months to get from the north to the south. The physics of it is not working.
Well, I would need to. You picked a weird show to pull that.
You're getting
card.
Jake into the nerd zone.
I'm gonna need to see your facts on the allotted travel time.
Well, honestly,
they were claiming.
I would like to know. I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay.
This is Shannon at the Rainforest Cafe. These are rubber animals. I thought they were going to be real animals.
The trees aren't even growing.
These aren't real tree. I brought a gun. I thought we had to be safe. I got vaccinated. I spent the last 6 months getting vaccinated. This is bullshit.
Actually, now that you say it, anybody who open carries into a Rainforest Cafe, because I have to imagine in the States where the Rainforest Cafe is still fucking killing it, there's probably some open carry people moseying on in there.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do love when the elephant makes the noise, though. It's
not my best
I
elephant.
have never been to a Rainforest Cafe, so what you guys are describing is like what
You've
was
never
happening.
been?
No, I've never
we should
been
take
once.
Jake to the
We should
Rainforest
go.
Cafe.
Let's
Do
do
they
a
have one in LA?
next live app at the Rainforest Cafe. I don't think they do, actually. I don't think there's one in LA. I could be wrong. There's probably one in Orange
A
County.
lot of competition here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kids, we want to go to the Rainforest Cafe or Disney Worlds. Any takers?
Well, we could go see Paul McCartney play at SoFi, or we could go look at fake animals.
Paul McCartney, what kids are trying to see him?
Gen Z, I don't know.
Paul McCartney is part of the Rainforest Cafe. His career is so washed out. Hello, Paul McCartney.
Welcome to the magical world. I don't know what he sounds like now. I can't do a Paul McCartney impression.
All right, that's Assholes at the Rainforest Cafe. We're going to wrap up here on this vaguely restaurant-themed episode with another listener submission. AITA for protecting myself after being threatened by a coworker. I, 30M, work in a kitchen with 2 other people. Our kitchen should function with a staff of 8 to 12, so we are all super stressed out doing the job of 3 to 4. On Wednesday, a coworker, Periwinkle, starts. Well, they put P. I hate when people just put a letter.
Oh, so then you made up Periwinkle?
I like Periwinkle. You don't like it?
I'm imagining a very mischievous gentleman.
Yeah, there he goes to give Jake fodder.
Oh, is it a guy?
Sure went. Yeah, it is a guy.
Okay.
On Wednesday, a coworker, Periwinkle, starts swearing and yelling at me, calling me a, quote, fucking idiot.
Whoa.
Didn't expect that out of a Periwinkle.
Definitely not.
Because I accidentally almost picked up the wrong tray of food. Now, Periwinkle has not spoken a word to me for a month until this, and I have no idea why. I told my boss, Marty, about the swearing and the silent treatment, more so for him to be aware of what is happening. While I was at lunch, Marty had a convo with Periwinkle. I wasn't there for it, and I don't know what was said, but when I returned from lunch, Periwinkle approached me. He throws his hat down and starts screaming at me that he wants to fight me. I back away and leave the room, only to find Marty and a woman from HR in the next room hearing all this happen. They said Periwinkle home for the rest of the day. Thursday morning, I texted Marty and asked if Periwinkle will be there and expressed I'm not comfortable working with him after the blow-up. Marty tells me there will be an HR meeting. This meeting keeps getting pushed back throughout the day. Later, Periwinkle starts walking around the kitchen with a hammer. I let Marty know that there's a pocket knife in my pocket and I'm prepared to use it if Periwinkle comes at me again. Now I'm suspended pending an investigation because I had a weapon at work. Periwinkle has not been suspended or received any repercussions. AITA.
Whoa.
Woof.
How is the hammer not considered a weapon?
I guess it was part of the kitchen. I don't know what they're cooking in there, but
Right.
It could have been a meat mallet.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
Tenderizer?
meat mallet.
Yeah,
Meat
but I think
mallet's
he
more
would have
fun.
said meat mallet.
Yeah.
Meat mallet, though.
Would he? Because him walking around with a ball-peen hammer with a wild look in his eye, old Periwinkle, ready to smash.
Yeah.
That's a lot more intimidating than just like, oh yeah, you had the tenderizer that we all use at work.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have a utility
Oh,
closet.
you think he's just
or-
saying that then?
I don't know. I wouldn't say just saying, but it does kind of feel like
Making it seem
it
worse.
sounds very threatening, but also like, do not tell your boss you have a knife in your pocket. That's just a good rule
yeah.
in general.
Oh, I was thinking he told Periwinkle that, but he told his boss that. That's interesting.
Also,
Yeah, what do you think what is your boss supposed to do? Like, he kind of has to report it, I feel.
I mean, I just
Hands are
don't
tied.
understand how it seems that Periwinkle like is acting very dangerously and
oh,
inappropriately.
definitely.
Yeah, what the hell is Periwinkle's fault?
When you said Periwinkle, I was imagining like Martin Short in a little red vest and a fancy going about town hat,
Yeah.
and then just opening up with like, "You fucking idiot!
Yeah,
I am Periwinkle, and I've never been insulted like this." And then he just turns out to be a fucking maniac.
Periwinkle threw his hat down and started screaming at me that he wants to fight me. I do feel like that is a super fair reason to be like, dude,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't work with that individual.
No, you shouldn't have
for
come to
some
work.
time.
You should have. I'm just saying you should have put your foot down there. Of like, I'm not coming in until you deal with that. Like, I will phone in on this meeting, but I'm not coming in.
Perfectly
Yeah.
good reason to get the hell out of work for the day.
And I don't want to circle back to this. Don't bring a pocket knife to a hammer fight. You're not winning that.
As is said.
That's just common sense. You got a little like half-inch blade. Like, what if you accidentally pull out the nail filer? Now you're really fucked.
Now you look great, but you're dead. I think that I guess I'm just really shook at why this workplace works this way. So,
Right.
okay, so let's talk about he does narc, right? Because Periwinkle calls him a fucking idiot, and apparently Periwinkle hasn't spoken to him for a month. So I don't know if you did something, OP, that was a little bit suspect.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we're not getting the full story.
I agree with that. There's an info.
I'm
There's a
sorry,
need for info
OP,
here.
but there's definitely a weirdness here, unless Periwinkle's just a crazy, crazy guy. So I don't know what you did. But look, you told your boss, Marty, about the swearing and the silent treatment, which I think is fair. I think this is a way to say, like, hey, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable as my colleague is refusing to communicate with me, and he's cursing at me. Those are all the
Right.
communications we're having.
Periwinkle should have been sent home immediately on the fucking idiot. That should have come down very,
I
very
think
fast.
so. That's very vitriolic.
That's huge.
That's malice.
No, I've been a manager before. That is an immediate, like, I'm taking you off the schedule for a couple of days while we figure out what to do with that.
For an
'Cause that's
innocent
Yeah.
mistake, right?
Right.
Like if you dropped a tray on someone's head and bonked them and they screamed "fucking idiot," totally understandable.
Right,
But
that's a
like,
reflex.
for a stupid, exactly for a stupid. Yeah,
It sounds like there was beef here. It sounds like there's pre-existing beef, and no judgment here. And OP, I am sorry for making assumptions about what kind of hammer this person is carrying, because it seems absurd to me that somebody be walking around with a brandishing or walking around with a ball peen, a claw hammer, something that they shouldn't have in a kitchen or wherever your job is.
Right.
And that is not addressed. That seems absurd. And if that's what you're dealing with, get out of this company. This is a
that's
dangerous work environment.
I mean, my read here is that they wanted to fire you. They wanted to fire you. Periwinkle doesn't like you for something you did, and Marty kind of agrees with him. And it's that simple. They were waiting for the other shoe to drop because, then you technically had a weapon and they had a case on you.
But I can also see someone that works in the kitchen having a pocket knife in their pocket to, like use as a tool.
Well, that is
kitchen.
that's actually supporting Danny's argument.
Yeah.
Because a pocket knife is a utility item. I used to have
that's what I
a
think.
straight
Not a
up
weapon.
Leatherman on me all the time when I was working in anything that involved big box
Yeah,
or like
very useful.
always had a multi-tool on me, and that has a knife on it. It never got me into trouble.
Yeah, it's
so,
a joke. I
but
mean, please stab me with a leather.
and like a little pocket knife, a little Swiss Army knife.
Makes me
like,
feel something.
Well,
Yeah.
wait, they said pocket knife, not Swiss Army knife.
Pocket knife.
Okay, so that actually
Pocket knife and-
that actually could be, if it's a fold-out blade, that
Yeah.
can be a
No,
pretty
he would have said a
menacing.
switchblade, dude. Not a pocket knife's a pocket knife. A switchblade's a whole
Is
different.
it
Well, no, a
pocket knife more
switchblade
like
is
a Swiss
specifically
Army?
the thing that
Goes
A pocket knife? I think of a pocket knife as like a multi-tool.
But technically, a pocket knife could be, it could have a couple of inches on it and just fold in on itself. That's still a pocket knife.
Yeah.
We both went to a Swiss Army knife, and that's
but I think the pocket knife is also a very useful tool. A lot
Still-
of times it has
still
like a clip
justifiable.
in it, and you can open things with it quickly.
Also,
or I'm just thinking of different things you have to like open in a kitchen all the time.
I mean, I think it has nothing to do with the knife. Marty is obviously in the wrong here. OP was protecting themselves, which they should have been. This person was displaying anger and violence toward them and being threatening, being explicitly threatening. I want to fight you. I mean, come on.
Oh no!
So-
Periwinkle is by far and away the biggest violator here of what we have in this story. Periwinkle is the aggressor.
Absolutely. And I think Marty didn't want to fire Periwinkle for whatever reason. And that's it. OP.
Which is sus.
You,
That's so
you gave them a
sus.
reason. I mean, I don't think there's any reason. If you have the need to protect, let's just say that you're in this situation. I think this is a classic, and I think this is one of the classic truths. You never ask for permission, beg for forgiveness. It's just that nobody.
really?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
agree.
so fucking
I don't
true.
like that.
It's so damn true.
I would so much rather get permission than ask for forgiveness.
If it's shady or if it's fraudulent, then definitely ask for permission. But like,
There's
if
an
it's,
asterisk on that for sure. And especially with like human beings and people in your personal life, that's a shitty policy to live by. But in terms of work and going after like what you're going for and trying to get your shit done.
Yeah, I guess
Well,
if
it's
you
like-
can, if the option is like you could technically get away with it.
It's like you got to think of what is the negative consequence, right? So here's an example. My dad wanted to fly his drone at like a state park or whatever. And he asked, and what did they say? They said no.
Oh,
What would
okay.
they have realistically done? Wasn't near an airport. Nobody
Yeah.
was going to be in danger. They would have said, sir.
And if they told him to stop, he could have still gotten
he
a
would
little
have just
footage.
stopped. Exactly. So like, And not that I'm advocating to doing this, because you should respect aviation law. I mean, I do. But, you know, it's just like you're going to get told no if you ask sometimes. Like, what is the worst possible consequence there? And so in this case, like, even though I mean, look, if you're a person and your personal safety is threatened, let's say, like, conceal what you got to conceal, dude. If you whip out your pocket knife when you're being attacked, what are they going to say? What are they going to say?
Yeah, you whiffed there. You got to save, like, anytime you're in a situation like that, don't let them know your next move. Even though you're telling Marty, like, if you feel unsafe, be on guard and maybe just leave for the day. Say, like, hey, he's walking look, anything to get out of a shift of work. That's my motto here. But if somebody's walking around brandishing a fucking hammer and they're pissed off at you, that's grounds to just tell your manager, hey, I'm leaving for the day. We can discuss how you want to compensate me for the rest of this shift tomorrow. It's really absurd that they put you in such a dangerous work environment, and that's 100% on them.
100%.
But Danny, you really opened up my mind on that one of, like, it sounds like they are looking for a way to put you out, and that sucks. It doesn't sound like you did anything to deserve it, but it sounds like Periwinkle and Marty are down.
In cahoots.
Yeah, they're in cahoots. Best word for it.
I might even back off, OP, just because you were basically, I think you were in a trap. You set the trap off. Though the benefit of this, if Periwinkle actually was dangerous, is that this is actually functioned as a de-escalation because you got fired. And honestly, they were looking to get rid
Wait,
of
they
you.
didn't get fired. He's suspended pending an investigation.
Where Periwinkle has had nothing of any kind.
Yeah, but neither one of them was
That's
fired.
a bad.
Well,
that's
maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I just suspect that, like, here's what it is. OP is forcing them to choose between Periwinkle and him, and they're already giving a lot of signs that they're choosing Periwinkle.
I'm honestly impressed that this restaurant has an HR.
They probably don't. It's probably Marty's wife. You know, like.
Wait a second. That's a wig. It's the lemur.
And like, yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like, what is this meeting that got put off all day? Like, I don't know. It just seems like bullshit.
That actually tracks for me, because anytime I've been involved in an HR thing, those meetings get kicked and kicked and kicked. And
really?
The only time I was one of the two aggravated parties, they were doing that, and that really irritated me, because it was something that was between myself and a manager. So it wasn't, me and somebody else butting heads. It was me experiencing something I shouldn't have had to experience as an employee of the company. But they did that. They kept pushing it to the end of the day, almost like they were trying to see if they could get me out of there before they would have to do it.
Kinda.
Yeah. So it wound up happening, but it is very frustrating when you're in these positions, for sure. And I understand why you got heated, but when you're at work, just do not, if you feel the need to defend yourself, leave, number one. But if you actually do have a means, a weapon, whatever, to protect yourself from being harmed, don't broadcast that move. You keep that to yourself, and you be ready. But man, I feel for you. I really do. This sucks. And from what you're telling us, you were really you're at odds with a really crazy person. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with this.
Good luck, OP. AITA for protecting myself after being threatened by a coworker. Honestly, OP, I think that you really didn't do too much wrong here. I think you're dealing with someone unhinged, and for whatever reason, the cards are stacked against you. NTA.
NTA, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is the ep. Thanks so much for listening. Please join us on Patreon.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Skip it up, deep down now.
Oh, Lemur, you son of a... Whoa. Oh, he's kissing me.